Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start this by just kindly trying to express whether you're an R or a D or independent, or if your candidate won or doesn't win, and you can go back and look at my other videos. All through me doing YouTubes, I have been very blunt about no matter who wins, we should pray for our leaders, period, point blank, don't care who they are. Obviously, we all care whether one side wins or loses, but we don't have to be this distraught and crazy and chaotic with what's going on. I will say this: God's will be done, no matter who's in office or who's running this or that or another or your state. I guess one of my biggest things, though, is just to start out the ending prayer in Congress the other day. And I think it was, I hope I don't do his name wrong, Emmanuel Cleaver, I think was the person that did it. If not, whoever said it, they said amen and Awomen when they ended the prayer. And I'm kind of baffled, because here's one thing that really bothers me is if you don't even understand the word you're using, why are you using it? Secondly, if you're that high up and you're passing laws in our nation and you can't even look up or reference a correct terminology for a word, why on God's green earth are you passing bills? Like, why are you voting? Why are you in the position that you're in to pass bills and do these things if you don't, like, if you're missing tiny words like this? Like, I mean, you can Google amen and it's verily true, let it be so. Google usually will tell you basics of common sense things. The Hebrew is to give assent, meaning to be true or faithful. Like when you're praying to God, whatever God that is, and you say amen, it's to conclude something. It's not about men. It's not about women. And for some reason, we are so hell-bent on sexism and sexist and toxic masculinity and do away with fathers. And there's just a strong drive to do away with all things that for some reason have brought structure. And again, if you don't have structure in your life, if you don't have routine, if you don't have basics, if you don't have certain things, and I'm not saying any are right or wrong all the way, but for some reason we will blanket statement like all men or all males, or masculinity isn't bad in itself, but when you add words like toxic masculinity and then all masculinity is toxic, that's just, it's not true. Now there can be toxic people, male, female, black, white, brown, whatever. Again, I don't do this shallow pigmentation BS, because we all bleed the same red, and we're all children of God, whether we're a little bit lighter or a little bit darker, and you can choose to let that define you, which is very shallow, or not. But we have to get off of, all of us, off of Republican or Democrat. We all honestly should be independent, and then whoever we're voting on shouldn't be decided by the media. It shouldn't be media bias towards this person's evil and Nazi and Hitler and whatever else, or this person's great and we just can't vote for this person. Let it be about what they stand for, their morals, their values, and every single individual should do this in their home, first and foremost. And then it should branch out into your work and your work environments and what you do every day. That's how we change the world. But if we do away with all right and wrong, and then this group of blanket statement, whatever, is bad. And another thing that actually really bothers me is it's wrong to storm the Capitol, but if you're burning down and looting buildings, not that I'm saying both people don't have a reason and they feel the way they feel. That's understandable. I understand people feel the way they feel. That's why they do certain crazy things. When they get so passionate and so worked up, and media has all of us so on edge that it's making us so divided. And a lot of us would agree about the same things. Unfortunately, we do. But we're so hell-bent on, like, if you're on that side, there's no way you agree with me. There's no common ground. There's no coming together. And that's sad. It's very sad. Because I agree with both sides on a lot of different things. I just don't agree with some of the things. And my basis is for them off of a biblical standard, what God has said and done, not what we think and feel. And if we get rid of morals and we do away with values and we only do what we feel right in our own eyes, it's going to be a very destructive world, unfortunately. We need to get back to right and wrongs and accountability and responsibility, whoever you are, young, old, doesn't matter, and teach people, like, get what you earn. Go get it. Do what you're supposed to do. Treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, very common, basic things. But if these people can end, and I'm saying these people as in the high up elites that run our country, can end prayers like this. And I mean, how are they looking at bills? Do they know what the wording is in the bills when they're passing them? That should scare us, all of us, as the lower class of, not at the hierarchy of all the people we've elected. And I don't know if they even know what they're doing anymore, like either side. And I know I'm going to get flack from both sides. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. I want to say this as we have to stop doing this where, well, the Bible's sexist, or amen is sexist. It's amen, like to God. Let it be so. Verily true. I mean, this doesn't have to do with anything sex oriented. And there's nothing wrong with being male or female. There's nothing wrong with that. We both have different strengths and attributes that come together and work well together if we'll do that. But just to keep blanket statementing groups, blanket statementing things and sexes and colors and Republican or Democrat, Crip or Blood, Catholic or Lutheran, like we have to stop this just blatant division. And then if you're not with me, you're against me. It's almost childish. It's a little kiddish. It's like, well, if they don't think and feel whatever I think and feel, then they're wrong. No. Let's have conversations. Let's talk. There's probably right in both of what we're saying. We're just so angry and so spewing and shook up like the soda pop. We're just ready to explode. And we got to quit doing that to one another. So I pray for our nation. I pray for you all. Love God, love people, love everybody. And Father, just be with us and let your will be done. But please, for the love of God, start coming back together and having conversations. Like, everything doesn't have to be, it's this or else. And it is childish if you think about it. If everybody, single one of us is being accountable, if you just think, unless you think and feel what I feel, you're wrong. We can't grow as a nation or people or anybody like that. So, not in marriage, not at work. Like, if you play the dictator and no matter what you think or feel is wrong on your side, that it doesn't work well for anybody. And we have to stop being divided, because we are still a people. We are still a nation. And the whole world needs to come together. And I know some of them aren't going to, but it doesn't mean we have to jump on the bandwagon and follow whatever group's running off the edge of the cliff at whatever time. So, love y'all. Hope that helps.